I should redo this because, it comes out wrong the other way. Anyway, between 1940 and 1950, what they would do is they would basically, they're going into all my factories and all my places and all my bases and all my female judges and all my female cops because they knew I was going to be a male and they knew I was going to be around. And so they were going into my factories where all my female workers were, and they would do a half an interview. They'd be like, and this is the process, blah blah blah, and they'd go through, and they'd all be kind of snickering. My people would tell me about this, and all the black guys or the guys would be snickering in the background, and talking, and then they would get to about halfway through the interview of the factory, rolling the film, and then the cameraman would stop, and he would walk away. And the other guys would just grab her and just rape her, and they'd run a line of 20 guys or 5 guys on this one girl, and then they would clean her off and fix her collar, and they would and then they would start rolling the film again. And she would be like, and they said on a lot of these films you could see that these people were noticeably upset and crying and like even shaking sometimes, and some of them even just walked off. And they were like, "You okay?" And then sometimes they would hit her, or they would buy her. They'd get. You could actually see them on the camera, and they'd keep the camera rolling. And the guys would get in front of them and like push them back and be like, "No, you're going to finish the interview." Anyway, this is what Mr. Brown and Mr. Black, Harlem and Wolf were doing. Anyway, and then they would do rape parties. They would go to a as their group got bigger, as the Republican and Democrat group got bigger. As the aristocrats got bigger, they just got worse, to where they would actually even just strangle them. Anyway, like I said, it actually caused a division between the male-female population. And when certain people found out what their husbands were doing when they were off on business, they divorced them and didn't want to ever talk to them again. Even their kids were like, "We don't want to talk to you ever again," because they found out because Mr. Brown, they found out why they were raping all the women. They found out why they were melting down all the statues. Because like 50 years ago, I had paid for those things, and I had paid for it as basically like, you're a civilization, and now you're going to want to remember this, and here I'll give you some money so you can do it. And I was creating this legacy. And then Mr. Brown, of course, figured out about that. He saw my name on the side of the Titanic, LS Titanic. So they went over there, and after they killed the managers or owners, they painted Anton on the back of the ship. His son was Anton, or something like that. I don't even think it was really his son. One of his sons was Anton. One of the 50 women he raped. And I think he cut his penis off, like I say. So it was named Anton. And he had other sons. Anyway, if you look back in history, you'll see that everyone had kamikaze warriors. And they would cut off their penises and stuff. And they knew I was an epic creator of 800 galaxies. And they were doing everything they could to destroy that and make it worse. So, anyway, so a lot of women find out about this. And it actually causes a division right down the middle between male and female. Because the females find out what these males have been doing. Like how they're raping Aborigines, how they're raping people, how they're killing women and strangling them, for no other reason than the fact that I'm a male and my name is Lucifer and I'm this epic creator. Like they didn't even know me. They didn't even know why the guys were doing it. This is all Anton and the Bloods and the Crips and the black people, mostly, and a couple of Yale and Harvard kids, which later become Bush and other people. And their sons are probably probably the sons of rape victims, or something like that. Well, the one wife they're nice to, but the rest of the women they rape, because they go fly off on this military mission, doing commando raids, and what they're actually doing is they're actually raping in another country and killing. And a lot of them, and then when it gets hot, they move on to another country, and they just do this little spotting kind of thing. They go around, and one of them said, "Spotting like a woman." Yeah. Anyway, they're just really retarded young 15-year-old kids that just don't give a crap about anything. Anyway, my security forces, mostly it's the black. Mr. Brown goes psycho, and he can't attack me, and so they just start attacking whatever business, and basically they're stealing cars and stealing guns, and anyway, this is your history for the last like 40 years or 50 years. This is what they've been doing. This is what the government has been doing. Not the Chinese government or the German government. Or a couple of the other governments, not Putin, but basically like the son of the queen and like certain people that were in the White House. They're just doing drugs and they do other stuff like give people angel dust and shove them off the rooftop of buildings and stuff. Especially girls that get raped, and then they're going to tell them about it and like, oh, you don't want it. So they just give them some drugs and shoot them off, or give them a hot shot and throw them off a roof of a building, and say, oh, they jumped. That's angel dust. Makes them drives them crazy. Like I say, there's a lot of things that most people don't know about what's been going on. It's mostly because my name is Lucifer and I'm a man or a person. And it's mostly because I was, anyway. So they spend like a couple hundred years just trying to do anything they can to hurt me. And mostly there's hurting women and everyone else. Then they start nuking and carpet bombing the cities. I don't know why. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it other than the fact that they're trying to kill off everyone. Or just because they can. This is Mr. Brown. This is the Crips. This is the Bloods. This is what the Blacks do. That's why everybody ends up hating them. What Nixon does. And mostly they borrow money or metal or resources from another country and then they bomb it. And to the Japanese, they're like, you have to give us goods or else we're going to bomb you. And then they bomb them anyway. And then Nixon's over there going, it's a model. That's obviously a model. That's a picture of a model. That's not actually a picture of a devastated China or Japan. And it was actually Mr. Brown and Mr. Black, or Harlem and Wolf, that actually got the old aircraft, put bombs on them, and then went and bombed it. Like I say, it was mostly the Bloods and the Crips and Mr. Brown and Nixon and a couple other people. And it's over a couple years, Like I say, you can do a lot of damage in a few years. And then they go through and they just start shooting everyone and playing tank busters. So, and this goes on between 1920 and 1968. When it's just epically clear about everything. So, and then the black people start doing this. Oh, we were tortured. We were oppressed. And they were actually the one enslaving and oppressing everyone. Like, you go back and you look at the photos, you'll see all these black people in beautiful clothes and driving beautiful cars, and all the white people are wearing bags on their heads or bags on their clothes. Anyway. So anyway. And all the black people are all fat and round and huge, and all the white people are skinny and starving. Like, you go back and you look at the photos and you'll see it. That's why everybody's just like, you know what, fuck the black people. We're out of here. And that's why, and then like I say, in Africa, like Nixon and Jimmy Carter and all of them helped out a little bit, destroying everything, but then the black people destroy their own country. Well, it's mostly like Harlem and Wolf and a couple of the other black people, the CCC people. And they just make guns out of the metal and then go and shoot people. Mostly against, they don't shoot people that can actually resist them. They only shoot the people that, the other black people, innocent civilians. And like they're just charging the black people. The white people or the British and the Germans didn't oppress the black people. It was Harlem and Wolf and basically, what's the name? He gets them into a town and then he basically cuts them off and has other black people. Anyway, you can ask the Irish or the Japanese or the Chinese about all this. Anyway, and then they start doing like slave wars where they give each slave, each side of their slaves, like they'll kidnap a bunch of white people and they'll kidnap a bunch of black people and they'll give the black people slightly better weapons, but then the white people they'll give muskets or whatever, and then they'll send them at each other. And whoever lives, they shoot with a long range rifle. And then they're like, and Mr. Brown's like, well, I think I won. With a bunch of other people. Anyway, this is 1920 and 1940. So anyway, that's what happens, and there is historical evidence of it. You can ask the Chinese about it. They should have information on it.